into the Bible for them. Okay, we're not looking at the world, how they do it, but we're looking into the different characters in the Bible and to see how the men and women of God, how they took up the challenges that were before them, and how they employ the strategy from God. To say before that our God is very strategic, whether in the field, the business, or the career, or the education, whether in the world or in the ministry. Our God is all powerful, he's all knowing, right? And he is wisdom. Our God does not have wisdom. Our God is wisdom. All right. And so it's good to learn from the Bible as to how God led the men and the women to turn all the challenges, the storms that they had, into blessings. And you can see that through the journey, how they exercise their God-given wisdom and their God-given faith and courage to pursue the promise which they have received from God. And the promise which they received from God, is whereby it has not even happened yet, but they believed that it will come, and it has come, and when the time comes, they will receive it. So that's very important. And so what I will do here is that I want to do a very quick recap with a chart here, okay, of the key principles that we have learned over the past few months in the book of Joshua. All right, and so very quickly from this chart, you can see that that our Lord, as I've been mentioning, that He is the master of breakthrough, and He's the Lord who break out, and you saw that He did that when He parted the Red Sea, and then He did it again, in the Jordan River. And so here, when Joshua and the people came out from Egypt, the first thing that God asked them to do is to consecrate themselves. For the next day or tomorrow, the Lord is going to do amazing things among them. And when they consecrated themselves, when they gave themselves over to the Lord, that's what it means, consecrated. They set apart themselves, then they passed through the overflooding Jordan River. God, stopped the flowing of the Jordan River, and they can pass through. And thereafter, after they have passed through, then the next step, the next instruction that God gave to them was circumcise all the males, for it's a sign of the covenant, which reminds them that He is God, He is their God. I am your God, and you are my people. And when they did that, God rolled away the reproach of Egypt from them. God rolled away the condemnation, the guilt, the shame, everything that they suffered 400 years in Egypt. God removed it from them. Because now God reminded them, I have a covenant with you. Because circumcision is a sign of a covenant that God had with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the forefathers, that God is their God, and they are God's people. And thereafter, they ate the produce of the promised land. And that was all before, and then they enter into the city of Jericho. And so this was shared with you over the past few weeks. And the previous Sunday, we looked into what took place after. What took place after, the commander of the Lord's army. And now God come to them, in the person of the commander of the Lord's army, because it's time of battle. It's time to go to war. They've come up from Egypt, the land of bondage and slavery. All right, they had a good time before, the Jordan River. They crossed the Jordan River. They were so happy. All right, and they ate the produce of the land. And now it's time for war. And so God comes in the person of commander of the Lord's army. And this way it appeared to Joshua. And Joshua asked him, who are you for? Are you with me, or are you in the sight of the enemy? But the commander of the Lord's army, who is God himself, Christ himself, says, neither. Joshua, I'm not at your side, neither at the side of the enemy. But you better be on my side. Be on God's side. And so when we are on God's side, when Joshua made a commitment and confirmed that he is on God's side, then he asked, the next thing he asked was, what message, what instruction do you have for me, your servant? And so he took instruction for the commander of the Lord's army. The soldiers don't give commands to the general. The general gives commands to the soldiers. Please understand that. And then when he takes command from the commander of the Lord's army, when he decides, when he confirms that he's on God's side, and that's where battle belongs to God. Because the story, when commander of the Lord's army appeared to Joshua, he appeared with a sword already in his hand, a drawn sword. In other words, God says, I'm ready. I'm ready to charge into the battlefield. I'm ready to take charge, take control. I am the boss. Are you ready, Joshua? And then Joshua had this holy ground meeting with the commander of the Lord's army, where God says, take out your sandals, for where you are standing on holy ground. And it was there that there was this invitation from God, a personal invitation from God to Joshua. Will you partner me in this mission to conquer this land which I sold to your forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Will you follow my instruction, my strategy, my plan? And so here Joshua says yes. All right? And it's what we have learned so far for the past few weeks. And this morning, for the first part of this morning, I want to take you through a brief history lesson. How many of you here love history? 1, 2, 3. Only 3 hands amount of you. I go, yo. You know, the Old Testament is a compilation of real history, not fairy tale, okay? Not fiction. Real stories, history that took place before Christ came. You know, I love history. I love history. And before, you know, I continue with what the plan that God revealed, the plan that the commander of the Lord's army revealed to Joshua, which most of you already knew for those who have read the Bible. But there's something very interesting that I want to draw your attention to. And I believe to many of you here, it could be an eye opener. All right? And so I will show you a few historical maps. You know, I Googled for some time to Google through to find the best map that I can show you all. It took me almost half a day just to get the right map for you all. So that you have a good idea, a better idea, or deeper insight into the promised land journey, which Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Joshua took. You want to find out. It's important. All right? And so here it goes, the first map. The first map is a Middle East map, all right? Because they come from the Middle East, they didn't come from Europe. They didn't come from the United States of America. All right? They came from the Middle East. And so you see in this first map, you know, you can see this, the blue line there. Okay, the blue line is Abraham's, his route from his home country, of the Chaldeans, which is today Iraq. And so it's very interesting to know this. They all started, look here, from here. All right? From that part there, you are. All right? You all started with Abraham's father. Abraham's father, not Abraham. Read the time, his name was Abraham, not Abraham. Abraham. All right? But for convenience, I just call it Abraham. All right? So you all started with Abraham's father, who moved his whole family from of the Chaldeans to go to Canaan, to go to the land of Canaan. It was his father who took them out from of the Chaldeans to the land of Canaan. But when they arrived at Haran, which is here, it is the top there, Pandan Aram Haran at the top. Okay, right at the top there. But when they came to Haran, is still part of Iraq. They settled there until Abraham's father passed away, until he died. It's all in the book of Genesis. Go and read, all right? Genesis chapter 11, 10, 11 onwards. And so they settled there for quite some time until the daddy passed away. And when the dad passed away, then God spoke to Abraham directly. God told Abraham, come out from the Chaldean, come out from where you are. Leave your father's household behind, all right? And you continue the journey into the land of Canaan. The land of Canaan is the promised land, by the way. It's from Genesis 12:5. Go back and check it out. And so Abraham obeyed God's instruction. And then it's where you see the arrow, all right? From Pandan Aram Haran, they go down. This is the land of Canaan here. The promised land. All right, and so Abraham took his wife Sarah and his nephew Lot. When he's not supposed to bring Lot along, but then he brought Lot along, Lot and Because of that, there's a problem. Okay? Yeah. You know, sometimes when God says A, you do A plus B, that's where then you have to settle the B problem. Right? Sometimes you're very smart. If you know the story, go back and today I'm talking about law, okay? Yeah. And so here, so you look at the map, so look at all those locations. What does that mean? The blue arrow. It meant that Abraham had entered into the promised land. Abraham, he had entered, Abraham, Sarah, entered the promised land. However, there was a severe famine, all right, a severe famine, and land of Canaan. And Abraham had no choice, but he went down to Egypt. So he went down to Egypt. Can you see here? This is Egypt, the picture here. So they went to Egypt. All right, they went to Egypt for a while. Look at Genesis 12:10. But later, Abraham returned back to Canaan again. Okay, look at it. The next arrow, look at the second arrow here. All right, and they settled at Hebron, which is the land of Canaan, the promised land. They lived there. And so I want you to look at the route that Abraham took when he went to Egypt and when he returned to Canaan. All right, let's put that in your mind. And so thereafter, you know, you can notice that it's actually a direct route. All right, look at here, it's direct. This is already the Canaan land. Here, they took this straight here. This is Sinai. They go straight, right? They went there straight and come back straight. The upper part of Sinai, Egypt, back into the land of Canaan. It probably took them like a month. Okay? And so Abraham's son, Isaac, his grandson, Jacob, and his great-grandchildren, the 12 sons of Jacob, they all lived in the promised land. Do you know that? Genesis 42. Go and read Genesis 42. But then they moved their tents from place to place. They moved their dwellings from place to place. They did not take possession of the promised land, but they already landed and enjoyed the promised land. And so maybe in today's term, you may call them long-term temporary residents, PR. That is still PR. All right. And so here, later part, you know, Abraham passed away. You know, Uncle Isaac also passed away, and now Jacob. Right? You know the story. Jacob and the sons went to Egypt because there was a severe famine. Prior to that, you know that Joseph was already the governor or so-called the prime minister of Egypt, right? You know the story which I shared with you prior to that. How the brothers threw him to the pit, hoping that he would die of jealousy, envy, bitterness. Then he was sold to the Ishmaelite merchant, taken to Egypt, and then after that he served Potiphar, and then Potiphar's wife got attracted to handsome Joseph, and then he was and Joseph seized this woman, and then the woman fought against him, and then poor Joseph they thrown into the prison, and then in the prison God made a way for him to go to the palace, right, on this commission. And then here also Joseph and the 11 sons, you know, met up with they have a reunification or whatever. They reunite, okay, a union, all right, with Joseph. And then Abraham's descendants, which means Jacob and his sons and the sons of descendants, they lived in Egypt. All right, they were called the Hebrews. They were Hebrews. That time they were not called Jews. They were Hebrews, and they lived in Egypt for 430 years. You find that in Exodus chapter 12. So the descendants of Abraham lived in Egypt for 430 years. They always stayed. And after the 430 years in Egypt, you know, it says that the new Pharaoh did not know Moses, did not know about Joseph, and so the new Pharaoh mistreated the Hebrews, and the Hebrews cried out, ah! Right? They cried to God, and then God says, God called Moses, you know, when Moses was 80 years old, and the burning bush on a holy ground meeting, and says, Moses, Moses, here I am, God. Now I call you to go and deliver your people, my people, from Egypt, the land of bondage and slavery and suffering. Moses, will you go? Okay, God, I'll go. But I cannot speak, God. I'm not a good speaker. And then God says, go. And this way God sent Aaron to help him, his brother. And so that means that the Hebrews lived in Egypt for 430 years plus 40 years. All right, they were in the wilderness in Sinai, which means they were away from the promised land, the land of Canaan, for 470 years. 4 generations. All right, they were away from the promised land. 40 years in the wilderness. All right, I'll show you the next map. In the next map, you notice that this is the map, the route that shows Moses and Joshua. And so God told Moses, now you take my people out. All right, no problem. So Moses, so you see Moses one is the red color line, the red one. All right, so Moses led the Hebrews out of Egypt. And then you see the blue line, the blue one there, okay, is the Joshua's route to enter into the promised land. The journey that Joshua took to possess, to conquer the promised land. Now, what I want to do here is that I'm going to show you both of the maps just now, side by side. All right, side by side. This one here is Abraham, Father Abraham. This one here is under Moses and our cousin Joshua. All right? And I want you to see, I want you to observe, look at the big difference. Same piece of land, okay? All right, Middle East. What is the big difference between Abraham's route and Moses' route? From Egypt to Canaan. What is the big difference? Right? How obvious, right? Very obvious. Here you notice that Abraham, all right, they took a much shorter route, a straightforward route, all right, as instructed by God. And as a result, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and the grandchildren, yeah, they enjoyed the chosen, they enjoyed the produce of the promised land quite soon after they left Egypt. But then the people that's led by Moses, here, the same map, the red line, they took a very, very, very much longer route. In fact, they made a big U-turn. So instead of taking the straight, direct route to go across Sinai, like what Abraham did across here, what he did was like that. And that's why you know why they spent 40 years. 40 years. But unfortunately, majority of them did not even enter the promised land. They died in the wilderness. Except for Caleb and Joshua and the younger generation. Why? Because we all know the answer. Because they did not believe in the promise of God. They did not have the faith to see the promise of God taking place. They refused to trust God to continue to deliver them from the giants at Canaan because they sent the 12 spies there, right? You know the story. They fear the enemies more than they trust God. Listen here. They fear the enemies more than they trust God. God, the God who parted the Red Sea for them and they saw with their own eyes. God who drowned the mighty army of Pharaoh, they saw it. God who gave them fresh manna from heaven, they experienced it. God who gave them the fresh water from the rocks, they drank it. God will make sure that their souls are never worn out. They experience that. Yet, they did not trust God enough. They rather die in the desert than to enter and to conquer the promised land and to take full possession of it. And not only that they did not see the promised land, the majority of them, they failed to redeem the time. God gave them an opportunity to redeem the time, but they failed to make the most of every opportunity which God had given them. They did not discern, they did not understand the Lord's perfect will for them. And as a result, They did not get to enjoy the produce of the promised land. And as a result, they did not see the fulfillment of God's promise for them. That is the worst part. They lived, but they did not see the fulfillment of God's promise for them. They did not live the life worthy of their calling. And therefore now I want to show you the main scripture that we'll be talking about since we started this series, right? In Ephesians 5:14-17, where Paul reminded us, be very careful that how you live, not as unwise but wise, making the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the Lord's will is for you. We need to understand. It is not that they did not know what God's will for them. They knew it. It was presented to them as clear as anything ABC. But the thing here is that they focus on the giants instead of focus on the promise of God, even though they have experienced the goodness of God. We sang the song, the goodness of God is running after us. And there was exactly what happened to them, to the Hebrews. God's goodness was running after them throughout. But they did not welcome the goodness of God. And so now, with this insight of the maps that you saw just now, I'll give you another map later on. I want to continue the story of Joshua, right? The blue line, which is what just now. Right? The blue line here. And so here, as I mentioned, all right, the blue line here, there was Joshua's route. He moved from place to place to conquer and take possession of the promised land. This time around, Joshua, the generation that entered in Caleb and Joshua and the younger generation, they didn't become temporary residents. They took hold, they took possession, they become citizens, they become the owners of the land. But they moved from place to place to conquer the place. And so before God called Joshua home, back to heaven, God instructed Joshua, on how to allocate the allotment, the division of the land that they have possessed to the different tribes, the 12 tribes, as their inheritance. Remember, hear this well. After they had possessed, they conquered the land, God has promised, God told Joshua, before you bye-bye, make sure you divide the land as I instruct you, that every tribe will have their inheritance. They possess the promised land. They own the land. The land was flowing with milk and honey. They continuously ate the produce of the land, which their forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob did before the descendants of Jacob became slaves in Egypt for 430 years and 40 years in the wilderness. And so here you can see that our God is a faithful God. Our God is a faithful God, and we know that our God is the one who keeps his covenant throughout generations with those who love him and those who hold according to his purpose. All these, the words I'm using, are not my words, they're the words from the Bible. And so God does not punish, listen here, God does not punish the sins of the parents or the children. God does not punish the children for the sins of the parents who refuse to repent. The children inherited the promise of God because why? The children repented and possessed, they listened to the instruction. Neither will God punish the parents for the sins of their children who refuse to repent. Our God is a faithful God. And so therefore, I want to say this here, church, listen carefully. Those who teach and endorse the teaching of generational curse for the sins committed by your forefathers, your grandma, your grandpa, your papa, your mama, let me tell you, they are not accurate teaching. It's not a sound doctrine at all. It is not according to the Bible at all. If you want to choose to believe in the generational curse as believers of Christ, it's up to you. But the Bible says it is not true. Because the generational curse is only for those who read the Bible. It's only for those who hate God. and worship other gods. And therefore, they would have to bear their own personal consequence of sin, the judgment of God. Please remember that. There are people, all right, Christians, mature Christians who told me, Pastor, I commit adultery because my father and my uncles, my brothers all committed adultery. This is a generation curse. I'm under this generation curse. Don't blame me. Hello. Oh, what a good excuse. Do you know that those who want to be Christians, who is redeemed by God, whom God has already nailed the sin on the cross, if they keep on talking about generational curse, it's a will escape. They do not want to bear personal responsibility for their disobedience, for their sin. And so you can see here that God blessed the children. They inherited the promised land because our God is just. God says that He rewards those who diligently seek Him in the book of Hebrews chapter 11. And His eyes are on those whose hearts are devoted to Him. In the book of Chronicles, go and read it. Throughout from the book of Genesis to Revelation, that's how our God is. He's faithful, He is just. He's merciful and He's compassionate. He's full of grace, but He's a just God. And so now, after Joshua had said yes to the commander of the Lord's army at the Holy Ground meeting, then the commander of the Lord's army revealed God's plan to Joshua on how to overcome or how to break down the fortified wall of Jericho. God did not reveal in the beginning. It's only after Joshua says, yes, what is the instruction? Yes, I'll partner you. Then only God revealed the plan, just as God did that for Moses at the burning bush. Moses, yes, Lord, here I am. And He shared with Moses his heart burden. And then Moses, are you willing to? Yes, Lord. All right, and so here, but before God revealed His plans, the military plan to Joshua, there's one very important scripture, one very important word, a statement that God spoke to Joshua. And many of us here may have overlooked it. Because we want to look at the plan first. We jump straight into the plan. And this scripture is here. It's found in Joshua chapter 6, verse 2. Joshua 6, 2. Then the Lord said to Joshua, Joshua, see, S-E-E-C, I have delivered Jericho into your hands, along with the kings and his fighting men. Please remember this, Joshua and the people, they had not even gone to the city of Jericho yet. They were outside, the Bible says they were outside the wall, outside the city of Jericho. But here, God told Joshua, see, I've already delivered Jericho into your hands. And so here, God told Joshua, I want you to see the victory. Even before you enter there, even before the battle takes place. See the victory. See, I've already done the job for you. I am the commander of the Lord's army. I am God. I am God. And in fact, this was not the first time that God asked Joshua to see victory before the victory took place. This was the first time. All right? And because when you read through the whole beginning of the book of Joshua, even with Moses too, all right, that at every different stage, God will assure Joshua of God's promise of the covenant to him. And then God would command Joshua to obey his instructions, and at the same time to see the victory that God will deliver to Joshua and the people, just as you see Joshua chapter 3:11, which we have already spoken about. That before they crossed the Jordan River, after they consecrated themselves, God says, see, the ark of the covenant between God's presence has already gone ahead of you. God has already gone ahead to the river of Jordan to part the river, to stop the flow of the flooding Jordan River. I've already gone ahead to clear the way for you, Joshua. See, even though you were not at the Jordan River yet. And then Joshua 6:2, before they entered and break down the wall of Jericho, the fortified military wall of Jericho, God says, Joshua, see, I delivered into our hands Jericho along with kings and the fighting men. And so here, Joshua was commanded. He was a command. He was a commander of the Lord's army. He commanded Joshua, Joshua, see with the eyes of faith, through God's eyes, that I've already gone ahead of you. I've already done it. I've already delivered it. The fortified wall of Jericho has been destroyed, even though at that moment Jericho was still standing strong. And so the message that God, the commander of the Lord's army, told Joshua, see, I delivered Jericho into your hands. It was a statement of fact. Statement of fact. That the battle has already won. It's already in God's hand. And God has already handed that victory to Joshua. The commander of the Lord's army did not say to Joshua, hey Joshua, can you see or not? It was not a question. It was an exclamation mark. See is a command, not a question. Joshua, see, I have already done it. You see, church, I keep on repeating this because I want that to sink into your spirit. Many times we think God is giving us a question when it's not a question, when it's a statement of fact, when it's a command. There was no room for doubt, no second thoughts, whether God will do it or not. God says, you see. And so from this chart here, you see, I'm giving you charts so that step by step, as I told you, I want to lead you step by step so that you understand. I do not want to leave you with any group of doubt. And so here, the commander of the Lord's army, right? I already explained that earlier on. Look at the steps, step by step. And so after the holy ground meeting, I can see it was not before, it was after. That's why the previous Sunday, I invited all of you to come to the holy ground meeting with God. Because God wants to tell you, see, all of you here, see what God has promised you. You already have it. But some of you are doubting. God, I think that's a question. No, it's not a question. You see, it's a command to see the victory, to see the defeat of the kings of Jericho and the destroy and the breakdown of the wall of Jericho. It's a command to see the end result, church. You want to write down on your note, write down end result. God wants you to see the end result of what God had already done. Past tense. God wants you to see the end result of what God had already done for you. And after all, the command to see came from the commander of the Lord's army, God himself, who had never lost any battle. Our God has never lost any battle. If you lost a battle, it's because of our disobedience. It's because we did not take heed of the full instruction. Don't blame on the commander of the Lord's army. Many times when I think that I've done something that's not right, when I see the end result is not like what I believe it's supposed to be, I don't blame God. Immediately ask God, I examine myself, God, where have I done wrong? Where have I missed you? Have I missed something? Show me now, Lord. That's called repentance. That's called, Lord, you have the obedience, you have the teachable spirit. Let's not have pride before God. Your Father, your God. What's it have? What's it have pride? Oh, so good to be humble before God. God says, right? He'll grant you more grace and more grace to those who are humble. But to those who are arrogant, God says he despises. And so here from the chart here, so when the Lord asked Joshua to see the victory, then only he released the military plan to Joshua. It was after, all right, he released. So it's from Joshua chapter 6. All right, verse 3 to 5, which many of us here, we love to focus on this. We love to focus on this and not just now see the victory. All right? And so it says here, the commander of the Lord's army gave this instruction to Joshua. Now, Joshua, you march around the city once with all the armed men, armed. Do this for 6 days. And 7 priests carry trumpets or ram's horns in front of the ark. The ark, which means represent the presence of God. On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times, with the priests blowing the trumpets. When you hear them sound a long blast of the trumpets, have the whole army, give a loud shout. Then the wall of the city of Jericho will collapse, and the army, those armed men of Joshua, will go up, everyone straight in, not like that. Straight in. All right, straight in. And so this war plan, those from Singapore, the men, you have to go through some national service. You know, you have to go through some little military war, mock-up plan, mock-up battle. So you will understand about military plan, fighting zone and all those things. And so when you look at this plan, this God, he's definitely not a 5-star general. He has not gone to battle yet. I think this God only knows how to handle only church service, only in Central, right? Someone asks us to blow trumpet, go around, keep quiet, all sorts of things. Where do any 5-star general will ask the soldiers to do that? And so the war plan was unlike anything that an army would normally use. Am I right? And I'm sure the people, if you look at the picture there, it's a very high fortified military wall. Go and Google and you find that it's a very, very hard fortress to conquer. And so the people that's up there inside the city of Jericho, looking down at them, they must be laughing at Joshua and the people. They must be thinking, these Hebrews, these people are crazy. Why are they marching around the city? And some more, keep quiet some more. Just go around and round and carry a box, a cotton box in front of them. All right? No army has ever won any battles in this manner. And then, just to share with you, this is what I understand, I read that according to military strategic war plan, let me read that to you. There were 5 usual ways or ordinary methods of warfare to capture a fortified war city. So if you have a war city, a fortified city, these are the 5 usual methods that the general, that the soldiers, the army will employ to break down the wall. And I'm sure many of us here, we like to watch the drama, the Korean drama, the Chinese drama, they show the kings and the emperors. I remember this one time, I was teaching the book Jonah. Remember last year I was teaching Jonah. And some of you were watching Korean movie. Jonah. The Korean movie, they call him Jonah. And he says, hey, Pastor, what do you call Jonah? What? Jonah from the Bible, not Jonah, the Korean movie song. So if those who watch the Korean and the Chinese movie, and sometimes even in the English, all right? Okay? You see all these fortress. Normally, this is one of the methods they use. Number one is that by going over the walls using ladders and ramps, all right? Which is very common in the Chinese movie. They use the ladders and ramps. I pity them. Because the first one to go was ocean divers. I really pity those guys who before the front line, 100% diamonds. Or they dig a tunnel under the wall. Those for time, they dig tunnel. When you dig at night, dig tunnel under the wall. Or they mesh a hole through a wall. Doom, to dig a big rock. I pity those guys also. They try to make a hole, mesh a hole through a wall. Or they lay siege around the city until the city becomes faced with starvation. Because when you lay siege, they stop all the supply of provision, food, water, cannot enter the fortress. Then they wait on them. So they fasted. They fast until they go back. And then the enemy, boom, go inside. All right? And some even say it's like, remember the Greek, the story about the wooden horse used by the Greek on the Troy? Yeah, so sometimes you use some sort of tricks to get the people to open the gates. All right, disguise. So these are some of the normal things that a normal military plan, war plan methods they will do. All right, they will carry out. And so when God gave them this plan, it sounds so foolish, it's so odd, so odd. God did not employ any of that military war plan. But the good thing here is that even though this plan sounds so silly, Joshua and the people, they did exactly what the commander of the Lord's army commanded them. And I want to say this here, church. You'll be facing more and more battles as the days go by because the days will never be easier. But that does not mean that you'll be overwhelmed, that you'll be defeated. No. Because your God is the commander of the Lord's army. And remember, the battle belongs to God when you are on God's side and when you surrender. Your battle is over to the commander of the Lord's army. And then the victory is yours, but it has to be done in the Lord's way. It's God's way. And since victory is by God's power, then we should expect that many times, most of the time, that the plan that God asks you to do, it will bypass your reliance or your dependence on yourself, on your worldly wisdom, on your intellect, or your own strength or ability. It will bypass. Because if it does not, then you do it. You can do it, right? If you can employ your own intellect, your wisdom, your ability, your strength, your qualifications, your experience, go ahead and do it. You don't need the command of Lord's army. You do it. It's fine, no problem. It's fine. And so, but when you are facing the fortress like the city of Jericho, or the Jordan River, or the Red Sea, oh, I better tell you, you better rely on the command of the Lord's army. All right, so the victory would be delivered into the hands of Joshua in God's way. So now I have a question to ask all of you here. Right? You're not here just to listen, but you're here to also answer me, because it's two ways, right? Direction. So I have a question to ask you, a very simple question. How did the fortified wall of Jericho fall? What caused the city of Jericho to fall? Come, I would like to hear your answers. What caused the fortified wall of Jericho to be torn down, to crumble, to fall? What caused Joshua and the people able to enter into this city and just go straight in? Come on, let's give the answer. Sorry, from what?
Act of God.
Act of God, of course, act of God. But what about, miracle, okay? Okay, what else? Yes, what else? Following the instruction of God, obedience, what else? So you think this is a fortified wall? Do you think that all the Israelites, they walk around, bear in mind, they walk around, they also keep it quiet, right, for the first 6 days? Do you think, let's try, would you try to do that? That's not poor engineering.
When you're in the sand, you transfer into step, it can become soft sand.
This is not sand. A fortress is not built upon sand. If a fortress is built upon sand, the foundation is very stupid. Yes.
That 5 chariots can go abreast.
Okay, I don't know how many chariots go abreast, but what I do know here is that when you Google, the wall is very thick and it's built upon a hill.
5 chariots can go along this wall abreast. 5 chariots.
It's one of the strongest military walls during the ancient time. It's built upon a very strong foundation. They built a foundation on the wall, upon it, then they built up again. So it's a very high, very thick wall. Some people say it's earthquake.
I think it's the word of one unity.
The word of unity. I would love to see all of us united And then you see which place we like to claim. We claim it. And we build a church there. Because by the way, we want this time in the biggest place. I would love that. Yes. Obedience and faith. Which one comes first? Faith. Chris.
I mean, one religion to put down to fly, right? So maybe a legion of angels.
Also, now you pass over to the angels now. Yeah, is this part of the Bible or this story here? Follow the context of the Bible story. All right.
So it's a miracle of God.
So it's a miracle of God. Nothing else but a miracle of God. I know that. How can this thing just happen by walking around? Rather you go around 100 times. It's a miracle. Who saw? So our Christian says, it's the commander of the Lord's army. Who is the army? Let's say, who is the army? I'll say Christian as I go. All right? And so, what did the word of God say? Oh, give a shout, more. Give a shout. Okay, let's give a shout and see whether, the building that you want to play. Okay, what does the Bible says? In the New Testament, you see, our God is the same yesterday, today, forever. God will confirm His word, whether it's 5,000 years ago, or 2,000 years ago, or today. So let's go to the New Testament. After this one, the Old Testament story, why not go to the New Testament now? Because I love to do cross-reference to show that it's God's word. And so it's found in Hebrews. Oh, Hebrews! Yeah, because they were Hebrew. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 30. That is the answer. It says, by faith, not by earthquake, not by the setting of all our feet. By faith, the walls of Jericho fell down after they were encircled for 7 days. Faith, after they obeyed the instruction. How did the wall fall? The Bible says, not I say, not you say. Not he say, she say. It was by their faith. It was by their faith to obey the instruction of God that caused the walls, the fortified walls of Jericho to crumble, to fall. By faith. After they encircled the city by faith. Look here on the top, on the street here. But our faith avails when it obeys. Faith that obeys. Faith that obeys. What is faith? Hebrews chapter 11 says things that something that you are so fully convicted, persuaded, you just know and you just know and no, that you have it or you have received it, even though you have not received it yet now. And so it was by faith. They believed, they trusted completely, wholeheartedly. No question, no room for doubt. It was by faith, then they obeyed the instruction. Let me give you an example. If I ask Yvonne, can you not march around this warehouse? Only 7 times up. Just 3 times. And then now, we should clean this warehouse. Will you do it or not? I don't think you have faith in what I say. If she does not have faith in what I say, will she go around? Even if she go around and say that, stupid pastor. Pastor will not run. I think your pastor is trying to fool me. She wants to exercise. You see, therefore, Joshua, the people, it was by faith, they did a serious thing. They followed the instruction. They circled, and they did exactly. Amen, go in front, Chris hold the trumpet, carry the ark of the covenant, and you people keep quiet. Hey, it's all that because it's by faith. They believe, faith. Faith avails when it's obeyed. All right, on the screen there you see faith. And so when Joshua and the people, when they trusted that if they did what God told them to do or instructed them to do, they would receive what they saw even before the wall fell, that God would handle the city of Jericho into their hands as promised by God. Church, look at that. God wants you to see through his eyes. Some of you here, I'm saying this word to you now, some of you here have already given up hope. What God had promised you in your early days of faith. Instead, you're focusing on the wall of Jericho. And it says, God, it can't be done. But God says, look, see, I've already done it. See. See. And so here Joshua believed and he trusted the word of God. He saw the eyes of faith and the wall. He saw with the eyes of faith that the wall has already fallen down. That God had already presented to him the victory in his hand. And because that faith to believe and obey the instruction, that faith released or unleashed God's power, or you see the miracle, the act of God to destroy the fortified walls of Jericho. Joshua and the people can talk until the cow comes home. We have faith, I have faith, you have faith, all of us have faith. But if they don't do anything, only sing songs, hello. It does not help. The wall still remain there, standing strong. After, by faith, the walls of Jericho fell down after, not before, after obedience. All right? And so here, their faith in God produces the obedience to submit to the commands of God. And so I just want to very quickly, I'm not finished yet. In fact, I told you I've got one more map to show you, right? I just want to bring this just very quickly, very easily, just break down a few sentences for you here. Because there are some very interesting and important lessons that we can learn from this fall of Jericho. All right? Number one, God keeps his promises. Our God, remember, is a covenant-making God, a covenant-keeping God, a covenant-revealing God, a covenant-enabling God. I shared it with you many times. Number two, Joshua and the people, they did not question the purpose of God's strange commands. They did not question. Number three, they did exactly what God had instructed them. Very obedient. Number four, their obedience was displayed by their faith, by putting faith into full action. It's only after that encircled the wall for 7 days, not 3 days, not 4 days, not 5 days, not 5.9 days, not 6.9 days. It's 7 days as instructed by God. Full action. Many of us here, we give up halfway. You started well, you obey. Halfway through, I give up already. The next one, they circled the wall until it fell. They circled the wall until they saw the wall fell. They completed their mission. They completed the part, and God did his part, and break the wall. So their faith to obey unleashed the power or the promise of God for them. So very important. It's not because of the plan. Many of us have to zoom down to the plan and try to understand why first of all the amen, and then why the priest, and why the trumpet, and then why the trumpet, and then the army behind. Why? I'll try to do that the following week, all right? But our eyes focus on that and not on the foundation of it. Faith. All right? And so as a result, God rewarded them by handing over the city of Jericho into their hands. And this paved the way for them to continue their pursuit to conquer and inherit the promised land. If they did not do that, they will not be able to conquer and possess their inheritance. So, we know the real answer as to why the Jericho wall fell. And then earlier on, I mentioned to you, I showed the map, right? The map which the people took during Moses' time. I want to ask you this question. Do you know the reason or the cause of your failure to enter the promised land? Just now I asked you a question, what actually caused Joshua and the people, to succeed in breaking down Jericho wall? Now I ask you this question. Do you know the reason or the cause of the failure of the people during Moses' time? Why is it that they did not enter the promised land? Disobedience? Not trusting God. No, you're not going to right? So it's interesting to note, to be reminded, the majority of the people during Moses' time, all right, they all failed to enter the promised land was due to their lack of faith. Their lack of faith has resulted in them not to obey and submit to God's instructions. Their lack of faith produced disobedience. When you have faith, faith produces obedience. When you don't have faith, it will produce disobedience. And because of that, they had to spend 40 years wandering the desert, and many of them died in the desert. And then you may ask me, how do I know? So let me show you proof, right? So let's go to Numbers chapter 13, verse 26 to 33. Let me just read through. I'm not going to explain because you should know the story. So they came back to Moses. This was the 12 spies that they wanted to spy out the land. It was not God's purpose to send them out. Remember this. The 12 spies were not God's purpose, was not God's perfect will to send them there. It was the people who asked for it. And then God says, they followed them, Moses. It was God's permissive will. Understand this very well. Because if they follow God, God's perfect will is that they go straight into the land, not through spies first. All right? And so here the spies came back to Moses and Aaron and the whole Israelite community at Kadesh in the desert of Paran. You remember? Desert of Paran, Kadesh. There they reported to them and the whole assembly and showed them the fruit of the land. Wow, it was really good, very fertile. They gave Moses this account. We went into the land to which you sent us, and it does flow with milk and honey. Here is the fruit. But the people who live there are powerful, but they are giants. And then the cities are fortified because the first one they saw is the city of Jericho. As they entered, remember the first city that they entered is the city of Jericho. And so what they saw was the giants and the cities had this high fortified military wall, and they're very large. Oh, they focused on the giants, they focused on the military fortified wall of Jericho. Continue. We even saw the descendants of Anak, they are the giants. All right? And then it says, following all the Hijackers, Jebusites, Amorites live there, and the Canaanites live near the sea and along the Jordan. All right, continue. Then Caleb, remember Caleb and Joshua, among the 12 spies, Caleb and Joshua were among them. And then Caleb silenced the people before Moses and said, we should go up and take possession of the land, for we can certainly do it. We should go up and take possession of the land, for we can certainly do it. Because see, Caleb saw to the eyes of faith and remembered the covenant of God. And he held on to the covenant, to the promise of God. Now we go. That's why Caleb entered the promised land. And the rest died. But then the man had gone with him, the 10 other spies. We can't attack those people. They are stronger than we are. And then they spread among the Israelites. So they start to gossip. Rumors spread very fast, right? No need social media, no need internet, very fast. All right? And so they spread among the Israelites a bad report about the land that they had explored. And then what did they say? They say, the land we explored belongs those living in it. You go there, you sure die now. All the people we saw there of great size, very big size, bigger than me. All right. And so he says that we saw the Nephilim, the giants. And then he says what? We seem like grasshoppers in our own eyes. In our own eyes, we seem like grasshoppers, and we look the same to them. But they see that in our own eyes, comparing to the enemies, we are like grasshoppers. Grasshoppers. Oh, how pathetic, how sad. Like that now, okay, we don't go laugh because we're grasshoppers. You just eat salad. Alright? And then continue. Numbers 14. Verse 1 to 4, 11, then 15 and 3. That night, all the members of the community raised their voices and they read along. All the Israelites grumbled against Moses and Aaron. And the whole assembly said to them, if only they had died in Egypt. Oh, they would have returned back to the land of bondage and slavery. Or in this wilderness, why is the Lord bringing us to this land only to let us fall by the sword? And so what they saw is only that they died by the sword of this journey. Our wives, or not, they bring our wives and children. Our wives and children will be taken as hostage, Wanda. Wouldn't it be better for us to go back to Egypt? The words of the mouth. Wouldn't it be better for us to go back to Egypt? And they say to each other, we should choose another leader. We don't want Moses. We don't want Aaron. We go back to Egypt. We choose a new leader. And what was God's reply? The Lord said to Moses, how long will these people treat me with contempt? Treat God with contempt. How long will they refuse to believe in me? Refuse to believe in me is the most important ingredient in your faith. In spite of all the signs and the miracles that I performed among them. Oh, God is saying this. How long? How long? And he said this. Not one of those who saw my glory, because by day the Bible says that when they were in the wilderness, by day the clouds led them, by night the pillars of fire led them. They had fresh manna, they had fresh water. Oh, they saw God's glory. And the signs that God has performed in Egypt to bring them out to the wilderness. But who disobeyed me and tested me 10 times? Usually every time they test God, they test God because they don't believe in God. Not one of them will ever see the land I promised on oath to their ancestors, even though God promised them. But remember this, church, I said this many times. The promises of God is found in the covenant that He made with you. And it comes to two parties, you and God. God will always play His part. God will always honor His part. It is you. Will you honor your part of the covenant? And so God kept His promise. And so God brought them out. God took care of them, their health, their food, their drinks. But now the people says, let's go back. Let us go back to Egypt. And so since they asked for it, okay, God says, you want it now? Okay, no problem. So no one who has treated me with contempt will ever see it. It means the promise of God. No one who has treated me with contempt. In other words, those who do not believe in God, those who do not have faith in God, God sees them as having contempt against Him, even though they have seen the goodness of God. Wow. When I read this, I was like, ugh. You see, church, this is so very serious. It comes straight from the mouth of God. In the sight of God, those who refuse to believe in Him, in spite of His patience and mercy, the Bible says God is long-suffering, God is forbearance, God is patient, God has full of mercy and compassion. And after all that He has done for them, the miracles of deliverance, everything, and yet when they choose to refuse to believe in Him, God views them as having treated Him with contempt. And now, I will show you a very shocking, a very sad outcome as a result of the lack of faith which led them to disobey God. Just now, we saw about Joshua, how they went through the blue line. Now, let me show you something else. But before that, let me show you this scripture. In Numbers 14:25 says this. Since that's what God says to Moses after they complained. Since the Amalekites and the Canaanites, the giants, when they saw at the land, are living in the valleys, turn back tomorrow. A command. God commanded Moses. Now Moses, you with them, all them, turn back tomorrow. Look at us, sorry, right? Turn back tomorrow and set out toward the desert along the route to the Red Sea. Remember the place on that? I show you the map. Before that, look here. We read earlier just now. I told you to remember the word Kadesh, the desert of Paran, right? They were already there. They were already there. Moses and the people were already there. Where? Not at the map here. Not at the green dot. This is Abraham's route. He was at Kadesh Paran there, Kadesh Barnea. Okay? They entered the Canaan land. The same thing here. They were already there when they sent out the spies. Alright? That's why it took only 40 days to spy out the whole place. When they went inside and they only can spy at night. So they took 40 days to check on everything, the house, the land, the property value, that's what the Bible says, see what fruit, what people are not, how strong. So they took that 40 days to do all these things, yeah, to mingle with the crowd. So they're already there at the border, not here. And what happened? Because of the disobedience, they turned back. Church, look here. They were there, turn back, make their U-turn. That's what happened, church. They were already there. So Moses and the people were already at the border town, at the Kadesh, Paran. The green dot shall show you the very same location where Abraham was before they entered the land of Canaan after they returned from Egypt. And at any time, Moses and the people could have entered the promised land already in 1 month's time when they left Egypt, just as Abraham. But because of the contempt towards God, God instructed Moses to turn back from Kadesh and Paran to go back to where they were, the beginning point when they left Egypt, and to take a much longer route, a big U-turn along the route to the Red Sea. And that journey took them 40 years, and a generation died at the desert of Sinai. How terribly sad, what a terrible consequence. Church, I want to say this here. When I read that and then realized that, my heart was struck with fear of God. Better understand the meaning of fear of God. Many of us say we do not understand the fear of God. Don't play with God. He is God. If not, he will not be God. He is God. The fear of God. Fear of God doesn't mean you're afraid of him, you're scared of him. No. It's that you do not want to grieve God, you do not want to show contempt towards God, because you know who God is in your life. My heart was struck with grief and a warning for God's people, especially to this generation, all of us here. They were already there, yet they could not enter. They lost the opportunity, the privilege of enjoying the fullness of God's promise for them in their lifetime. And so this is something that we really need to take serious heed about, all of us here. Let me now apply this to us today in today's context, to the 21st century Christian believers. You may not be at Mount Sinai, you may not be at the desert of Sinai, you may not be at Kadesh, Barnea, and all those things. But I want to say this, that many believers, we have suffered the same consequence as the Israelites during Moses' time. We were about to enter, or to get hold of, or to receive the fullness of God's promise for us. Or God was about to launch our ministry, or launch our mission, or our calling. But then we lost it just prior to the breakthrough. And some of us have made big U-turns, like the Israelites. Some choose to abandon their calling, which I've seen again and again. They give up, or they even walk away from God and from the church. And some resort to doing their own way, my time, my fashion, me and I. And there are several reasons for that. It all boils down to attitude. Don't blame the devil. Okay, let me share with you the common ones, the main ones in today's context. And even from the Bible, you can see that. Go to the Bible. These are the few ones. Pride. Our personal pride and taking offense. Pride and offense. Oh, we are so easily offended by people. We offend people and we are also, we also being offended. Today the world says, we hear this thing, it's all written in the articles. Many articles among Christians. Now the people of the world today, including Christians, we are so afraid of offending people. But we are not afraid of offending God. Notice that? We are so afraid of offending anybody, therefore we become politically correct. Everything must be political correctness. Oh, you must consider this, consider that. So everything is acceptable now. Everything is acceptable now. You cannot offend anybody, or else we call as but then you offend God, no problem. Other reasons is because self-righteousness, religious pride. Oh, they think they're so highly spiritual. They're more spiritual than God. They are unwilling to submit to each other in the fear of God. That's what the Bible says. They esteem themselves higher than the rest. Ungodly ambitions, desire personal gratification and power. The Bible says they are lovers of self. They love themselves more than anything else. Me, I, and me. Impatience is another one. Oh, they're so impatient. And do comparison with people. Impatience. I can't wait. But they've forgotten that God molded Moses for 80 years. 40 years in the palace, 40 years in the wilderness, with the Baba blessing, before God used him at the age of 80 years old. God gave a dream to Joseph at 17 years old. Only at 30 years old, he could enter into the palace. And all the rest, we are so impatient. We want it now. Pastor, I come to your church. God calls me to this church. I want it now, the ministry or the position. That's what I'm not joking with you. And I says, okay, it's all very good. God brings you up. Prove yourself. Let's serve each other with love. Let me see your heart, your attitude. After 2 months, 3 months, they bye-bye. The most 1 year, they cannot take it anymore. They don't have a servant heart. And they cannot put their life on the altar for you. Jealousy and bitter envy towards others. Oh, jealousy and bitter envy. And refusal, like the Israelites, refusal to believe in the word of God, leading to a lack of faith, sending them to disobedience to God's commands. Excuse me. Don't talk. You see, God will lead us step by step. God will lead us step by step to the path that He will prepare us, He will equip us, He will mold us, He will sharpen us to receive the fullness of God's promise for us. God will do that step by step. Because in every step is a learning, in every step is maturing us, in every step is preparing us, in every step is refining us, like we said in just now, in every step is purifying us to be more Christ-like. So that at the end of the journey, oh, He will say, well done, my good and faithful servant. Church, how can you say, Pastor, I want God to say, well done, good and faithful servant. Very good. But hey, but now you're living now. Do something now. Oh, do something now so that at the end, when you see God, God will say that to you. Put that into action. Put your faith into action. Put your faith into action. Okay? And remember this, God will not impose upon us His perfect will. God will not impose. You saw that in this stories. Alright? Because it's God's divine principle. It's God's nature. And also remember this. Because God will allow His people, you and me, the freedom to do what we want to do, and the way we insist to do it, God will allow it. But remember this, we will not have the freedom of the consequence. We don't have the freedom to choose the type of consequence of our actions. Because God's divine principle is sowing and reaping. You reap what you sow. You reap in the spirit of the spirit. You reap in the things of the flesh. You bear the products of the flesh. From the book Galatians, God says, do not mock me. In the book Galatians, you reap what you sow. It's found in the book Galatians, New Testament. And so here, I really hope that you all see this. I will show you another scripture from the New Testament that describes about this. It's found in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3 to 6, 11, 12. In the New Testament, describing what happened in the time of Moses. I pity Uncle Moses. He has a faith to believe, he was obedient, but the people caused his downfall. The people caused him not to be able to enter the promised land. I'm so pitiful of him. Seriously, church, as a shepherd, as a leader, I told God, I can see by faith what you have promised for the church, the overcomers church, the crown of life. God, let it not that I don't experience the Moses experience. I know not because of the people that I miss it. Because of the people, Moses missed it. Not only me, church, you yourself, make sure that you yourself, that when you see God's promise of life, make sure that nobody stops you and prevents you. Even your loved ones. Because it's always the loved ones that will prevent you. They will stop you from inheriting the fullness of God's promise for you according to the covenant He has made with you. On that day, when you see God, you can't blame your husband, you can't blame your wife, you can't blame your son, you can't blame your daughter, you can't blame your pastor, you can't blame your boss. God says, excuse me, you're grown up. I spoke to you, I didn't speak to your husband, I didn't speak to your wife. It's you. It's you and me. And so here in 1 Corinthians chapter 10, they all ate the same spiritual food, the fresh manna from heaven, and they drank the same spiritual drink. Or they drank where? From the spiritual rock that accompanied them, and that rock was Jesus Christ. So even in the time of Moses, Christ was already there. Christ was a rock of all ages. Remember? Christ was a rock of all ages, eternity. And so Christ was already with them, doing all the miracles for them. Oh, nevertheless, God was not pleased with most of them, and their bodies were scattered in the wilderness. And he continued. Now these things occurred as examples to keep us from setting our hearts on evil things as they did. So the Bible is given to us to give us as a warning too. That's why it's so important to read the Bible. If you want wisdom of God, read the Bible. If you want to prosper, read the Bible. It continued. These things, he repeated, these things happened to them as examples and were written down as warning for us. Happened to them, a warning for us today, on whom the culmination of the ages has come. We are at this age. And it says this. So, if you think you are standing firm, be careful that you don't fall. This is a warning, a statement. If you think you are standing firm, be careful that you don't fall. Wow. And so I hope that that we all have the kind of faith that moves the heart and the hand of God. The faith that obeys. The faith that obeys. Look here. I want to have this another scripture here. Okay? Now, even before that, before I show you this scripture, okay, I want you to see this thing here. Now, back to 1 Corinthians chapter 10. Many Christians, they say this, and I hear this. They come back to me. Pastor, it is okay. I still got food to eat. I still go to church. I'm still called God's people. It's okay. I've got spiritual food, got spiritual drink. I've got the rock of ages with me. It's okay. But they don't realize that they died in the wilderness without fulfilling God's perfect will for them. Church, be careful. Today, many Christians are so complacent. It's okay, Pastor. I don't need the fullness of God's promise. I'm happy 5 minutes a day. I'm very happy already. I got $5,000 salary very good already. Centrelink will give me also. Medicare will give me. Job keepers will give me. Job seekers will give me. What other things I don't know? Pastor, don't worry. I don't need to go to do that job, Pastor. Why you ask me to serve these people? Why you ask me to serve this ministry? I'm very happy. Pastor, I give you praise, Pastor. I'm very happy. But they don't realize that they will die in the wilderness without fulfilling God's will for them. Now let me show you this scripture in the book of James. That's my last scripture for the day. I'd like to show you the New and Old Testament, right? The book of James says, the brother of Jesus Christ, James chapter 2, 21 to 22, 24 to 26. It's a very familiar scripture which I've used before. Was not our father Abraham considered righteous for what he did when he sacrificed, when he offered his son Isaac, his only son, on the altar? You see that his faith and his actions were working together, and his faith was made complete by what he did. His faith was made complete by what he did. You see, repeated, you see that a person is considered righteous by what they do and not by faith alone. As a body without the spirit is dead, so faith without deeds or action is dead. All right? It's very clear, straightforward. This was talking about Abraham. And this is so reflected by Joshua. Moses had that. Unfortunately, the people failed him. All right? Let me show you another chart here. The faith of God produces the obedience to submit to the commands of God. Please listen. The faith of God produces, the faith of God produces the obedience to submit to the commands of God. Faith produces obedience. I'm just doing a simple chart here. Faith produces obedience. All right? And then your obedience will lead you to put it into action. And then when you put it into action, God considers you as righteous. And then as a result, God will give you his promise. Just as Abraham, just as Joshua. That is God's principle, God's divine principle, which you and I, we must learn. All right? So by faith, we obey every instruction given by God. Our obedience brought our faith into actions. Our faith and our actions must work together hand in hand. And therefore, God is pleased with our faith because you see that our faith is made complete by what we do. And as a result, God considers us righteous. Remember, righteousness is important to God. And therefore, He grants us His promises because we are now considered righteous before His eyes. As I said before, Joshua and the people need to talk at length about how much faith they had. That's what the book of James says. You can talk and brag about your faith, but if you don't put your faith into action, it is useless to this day. So finally, the chart. All right, just look at this chart step by step. I want to explain the top part. Let's go to one. All right. See, I delivered into your hands the wall Jericho. How? By faith. By faith. The wall Jericho fell after they obeyed, after they put that into action. And so, church, I hope, I pray that all of us here will have this kind of faith. A faith that pleases God. Because God says, without faith, no one can please God. It's found in the book of Hebrews. Without faith, no one can please God. And so I pray that you all will have the kind of faith and obedience that will give us a breakthrough and the breakout that we are seeking for. Amen? Amen. Let's rise our feet. Now just wait. Maybe I just saw on the screen. And I just want you to take some moments to ponder upon what you have heard this morning. Because this is what I share with you. This is not another teaching, it's a prophetic teaching for all of us here. All right. You know, may I encourage you here that I recorded it and I hope it goes out well. And I think Evan's father for the MS in Malaysia, he had tried to record it in YouTube also. All right, that's why you see this camera here. This thing. If whichever turned out well, I will send it to you. You may have heard this morning's message, but may I encourage you to listen one more time and I send it to you. Please listen to the message again. Please drop as much as you can and then sink into your spirit. You know, you don't even eat one meal. You eat 2 meals every day to nourish yourself. You just hear the word today for an hour plus. It's not good enough, church. And that's why I take the effort every time for the past 2 years to record the message and to send them to you as regular as possible. It's my effort, my energy. I do it all by myself. All the jobs that you see, I don't have a PA. I spend hours and hours doing all this so that they can have better, clearer understanding. There are many pastors who come and ask me, Dywen, how do you do it? I'm not boasting, I'm boasting the Lord. How do you manage to do it? You preach most of the Sundays, you teach Bible classes twice a week, you pray meeting twice a week, and you do all the jobs yourself, you do all this yourself. How do you do it? By the grace of God. And it's because I love all of you. I want you all to be sure that the Lord Paul says, if you believe, it should not fall. And so I want you to take some moments just to reflect what you have heard from the Lord. You know, this is for your benefits, for your sake. If you are not turning back, you can U-turn, of course, or reverse already. You're at that point already, and because of certain things, you turn back again, back to the point where you came from, and after that you make a big U-turn. If you are at that position, or maybe you are certain point at the U-turn, or wherever, then I encourage you to come back to the Lord. Repent and say, God, take me out of it now. I just want to enter into the fullness of your promise for me. I want my inheritance. I want my inheritance. I want my inheritance. Be like Jacob who wrestled with God and he won. Because why? He says, bless me for us, or not blame you. How many of you here can say, God, bless me, oh God. I want my full inheritance as you promised me. Then only God will let me go. Then only come home. How many of us here? Or do we give up so easily? Don't just think for yourself. Think about your children and your children. Don't only think about your children, think about the community. Look at the world is so broken. I tell you this, look at the news every day. Oh God. Evil is now seen as good. Godly is not seen as evil. And this morning I read an article for a Christian church leader. In South Africa, the first church called the Church of Satan. In US there's a few already. In Africa was the first one called Church of Satan. And he says what? I was a Christian, the founder says, listen to this here, I can say you are Twitter. He said, I was a Christian, I gone to the extreme of being a Christian. I understand Christianity. I'm not against you Christians, no. Satan is not against you all. In fact, I'm not going to convert you all to become my followers, Satanists, so that, you're not against God, you're not against Christianity. Look at all this deception and iniquity. And this is what? We are just looking at the good aspect of Satan. And this is what? Oh, we are talking about freedom in individualism. We're talking about pride. This is exactly what's happened today, the attitude of Lucifer. Do you know that? And this is what's happening up today, out in the world. My pride, me and I, my rights, my entitlement, my freedom. I do what I do. This is what's happening now. And the Church of Satan now is endorsing that. He says to liberate you to be who you are. In other words, to be how evil you are. Church is happening. And it's creeping to the church. That's why a lot of churches today here. I'm not talking about church here. I asked God, you better cleanse this church. But the churches, there are so many churches out there in the world today. They have allowed all this new age teaching, the Satanism teaching to come in. It's all for the you and me. My pride, my religious freedom. In the individualism individualism, no more family, no more about God, it's me. It's about God-centered, but I-centered. Church, be very careful. Be very careful. You don't be so sure that you don't fall. That's what the Bible says. Amen? And it's all over. Let's say this song, thank you, Jesus.